just picked that up this morning, so that's one of two. So we were swithering whether we went for any more, but
then you went on a long draw and decided you had to have 2 more.
Yeah, so just to try and cut down. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the second new one out because I've not got enough ball hitches with the steering ball on it. But yeah, it's basically to try and cut down number of tractors and clearly the number of men, or get them doing something else, you know. Whatever way it's going to work. Also on that, you're hopefully saving the farmer some fuel, the client some fuel as well, because you've not got as many machines here burning diesel and the good old AdBlue, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody's best friend, like.
So is that the plan then? Go for more triaxles then in the future?
Yeah, I think if we could get ourselves up to 4, I think we would be fairly well set up, like. So we would. But then we've got to look at the tractors as well. You know, obviously they pull really well, them triaxles. If we're on some steeper ground, you're obviously needing that bit more horsepower.
They suit that larger frame tractor, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. You get by with the smaller one, but in reality, you know, I mean, you're wanting the bigger ones on them, like. So you are. But they do they travel well and a bit less ground compaction too, like. And the trouble with the tandems is the bloody scrub the tyres off, you know. Yeah, there's no steering axles on my tandems, like, but with the triaxles we have in the steer, it does make a difference, like. And they follow quite well as well, like. So wherever the tractors go on the trailer, it'll go. It's not as if it's going to cut a corner or something, you know.
You like to keep your tractors fresh then?
Yeah, like to try and keep on top of them, like. Keep on top of them, and just it helps the guys as well, you know. If they're kept new, you know what I mean. The guys appreciate that too, like.
What's the go-to tractor at the minute then? Like, what have you been seeming to buy the most of at the minute?
I would say John Deere are a good machine. But is there a bad machine out there? There probably isn't, to be honest. Like, you know what I mean, we run Claas, we run New Holland. I've got one Fendt. You know, they've all got their problems, but at the end of the day, it's not the machine. It's the backup. You know. So you just got to weigh everything up, like, you know. But you can still have a John Deere that causes you problems. At the same time, a Claas or something can cause you problems as well, you know. So it's just, a lot of it's down to operator preference, you know what I mean. If the driver would prefer a make and model machine, then we tend to try and go with it, like. It is obviously good to have them all the same breed. So it does, because then everybody gets used to them. But at the end of the day, if some guys prefer one make over the other, then there's no bother, you know what I mean. You just have to keep them on your side, you know.
Aye, so if you have a full-time fella that has been around a long time, or been around any length of time, you sort of you take what they want into consideration.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. No, if they're happy, then it's a wee bit easier life, you know. A lot of the guys, you know what I mean, they take pride in what they're operating as well.
Oh, they seem to do alright, yeah. So, how do you find staff at the minute?
Oh, very difficult.
Yeah?
Very difficult, like, you know, there just seems to be a shortage, like, you know, and it's not just in the agri-contracting side, it's the same with the plant side as well, you know, the construction, whether it be excavator or dump truck or grader, you know what I mean, there just seems to be a shortage of people, like, you know, but again it seems to go kind of full circle, you know, and there's a few guys there that float between each contractor and then they'll end up back at you again, you know. Yeah. So yeah, we've for the last probably 6 years we've had guys come over from Ireland for the season. Some of them have stayed a bit longer, you know, we've put them through certification and that for doing stuff on the plant side as well, some of the contract work on that side. A couple of guys this year from down Northumbria as well, who just give them accommodation as well, and yeah, they've turned out really good. So they have, and it's good experience for my guys as well to have other people come about and, you know, with their experience. I've worked other places, like, you know, different areas, like, so it's hard to even sometimes keep a hold of them, do you know what I mean? Some of them you'll never please, like, you know. Yeah, we've managed to build up a core team there for this season anyway, going forward, like, so. You know, you need to look after them, do you know what I mean? They're doing a lot of work, doing a lot of hours, you know, you need to make sure that you're looking after them, like, if they're maintaining the kit as well, you know, keeping them greased up and everything, you know what I mean? That's worth a lot as well, like.
It's funny to see people coming up from England to Scotland. You know, they must know that Scotland's a bit better.
Oh, that's exactly, yeah. We all to Scotland.
I just must confirm it there.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Boys coming up.
Yeah. And the good thing, especially in this area, like, you know, there's some big farms, like, you know, like so here were 1,400 acre plus second cut. Drops a wee bit for third cut, drops a wee bit more for fourth, and then sometimes with the fifth as well, if the weather permits. Like, you know, you could be anywhere in this weather, you know, you get the sea there next to you and it's just sun shining, you know, it just...
this is why you do it, like?
This is why we do it, so it is. And yeah, and when everything's going sweet, you know, it just makes it worthwhile. Biggest bother I've got down here is no phone signal, so Tanya's got to deal with the calls, you know, when so that's the biggest.
It's maybe not the worst thing.
Well, no, it gives me a bit of a break, like, yeah, but obviously I'm flat out busy. You know, if Tanya ever asks, you know, I'm flat to the mat.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Okay, I'm Tanya Russell. I'm one of the directors of GTR. Garry and I started the business together back in 2006. My role is primarily the office manager, I would say. Pretty much oversee everything that goes on in here. Over the years, we've obviously expanded to having several staff in the office, so I oversee everything from payroll, health and safety, client inquiries that come in, and maintaining the relationships with the current clients that we have. A lot of my time is spent tendering as well, so for like the bigger contracts. Garry was an operator on the grader, and I had done a business degree. So I was an office manager elsewhere, and Garry was a self-employed operator at the time. And basically, after we got married, literally a few months after we got married, he decided he wanted to take the leap and start his own business and actually invest in some machinery. Initially it was hiring. So yeah, with his sort of machine experience and my sort of business head, the two of us were able to sort of work together. So I was 21 and Garry was 25 when we got married. And then the business was the same year, so 21, 25 when we started this. We literally had £2,500 left after we paid for the wedding, and that's what we used to start to fund the business. And yeah, just had to work really, really hard to prove ourselves, and obviously turn that £2,500 into what we've got now. Yeah, we have 2 children, Harvey and Maisie, and obviously when we started the business we were just newly married, so we didn't have any kids. We had Harvey 2 years later, so the business was still fairly young, and it was hard, to be honest. Trying to grow a business and have a baby was really, really difficult, and that was actually the point when I decided after my maternity leave that I needed to be part of the business full time, because I was doing more and more while I was off with Harvey. So that was the sort of turning point for us, I think, as well, because that was when I said, you know, this is really important, and for us to keep going, I need to be a main part of the business as well, a full-time part of the business. So that was when things changed then. Garry would be better with the numbers, but we've got, I think it's about £13 million worth of plant we have, and we're continually investing in that. Like literally, there's not a month goes by that we're not replacing something. Obviously with the size of the fleet, there's always something that's needing renewed. We try as best we can to keep the fleet fresh. Obviously it gives a better machine for the operator, but also it's more reliability for the client as well. So we try to keep things as fresh as we can. So Yep, Gary's always shopping for machinery. Most of my time in general is spent, I would say, on the construction side, because as I say, there's a lot more, I'm a lot more heavily involved with that because there's a lot of risk assessments, method statements, as I say, tendering, and then just like, you know, monitoring the contracts as they progress. So I'm more heavily involved with that side on a day-to-day basis, but I do love going out, the agricultural, especially silage time. It's good to see the boys all working together. The teamwork is unbelievable.
Do you manage to get out of machines much at the minute? Or?
Not so much now, like, you know, the way it's went with meetings and meeting clients on the other side of the business, you know, whether it be the plant side or the crushing side or even the haulage side, you know what I mean? You've got to spend just the way the businesses went, but paperwork as well. Obviously I enjoy it, like, but this is, I love this kind of stuff, like the team effort, you know, it's like any time you've got 4 or 5 guys, 6 guys together, and it's a team effort.
Staff in total, like what sort of numbers are you looking at to give us sort of an idea of what sort of scale?
At the minute we are probably sitting about 80, just with the work we've got going on now, between the ag side and you know, we're on couple of wind farms, constructing them and maintaining roads, and then we've got the forestry roading that we do for several clients, forestry ground prep, and then we've got a few artics, like, so we have they do general haulage and timber haulage, and then low loader work, so we do obviously shifting of our own plant, and we do a lot of shifting of other third parties, like, as well.
The lorries are fairly smart now.
Yeah, they came up well. Like, it took a bit. To be fair, Harvey done most of the input, like, so he did. I'll credit to him on that, like, because they've turned out really well.
You like to have your gear looking well, in fairness.
We try, like, you know, we do try.
I know it fairly annoys you whenever you don't get something stickered.
Yeah, it's well, we've tankers here and we've trailers, and new trailers here, and they're not stickered yet, like, but anyway, still make money whether they've got my name on it or not. So
exactly, yeah.
it doesn't really matter too sore, like, to be fair. But it's nice having everything, having everything the same, like, same with the lads and that as well. Do you know what I mean? We buy gear and that for the lads so that they're all looking fresh and the same as each other if we can help it anyway.
I suppose it would maybe scare you if you've seen all the machines that you have in your yard.
Yeah, thankfully they've never ever all been in it. Well, I don't think I'd fit them in all at the same time, but thankfully we've not had them all home, like. But that was another thing which was a big step for us. We bought the farm in 2010, which was 24 acres, like, so that gave us a good grounding for our own base. So we didn't need to buy a yard anywhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything's all there, and we live there as well. So for a security point of view, it's ideal.
So the rest of your silage outfit, then you like your class stuff anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't go buy the glass stuff, like, we've tried other breeds, like, you know, and the glass, we had a crone rake a few years ago and we just couldn't get it, just didn't work for us at all, but
yeah.
So we went back to a glass, and then I just got a new glass 4900, I think it is now, 49. Got that last year, and the guys are loving it, like, so they are, it just makes a tidy job, like. But yeah, we work all over, like, I've just secured a 2-year contract with the Forestry Commission, or FLS now as they call themselves, for crushing for them. So that's going to take us all over the kind of north of Scotland, which we've done a lot of work in that area in years gone by, but we were kind of busy enough around the doors there for a while, so we didn't really bother. But the lads were saying to me they were kind of missing doing a bit of work away from home, so we put in for that contract, and we got her, like, so, which is quite good, because it opens up doors when you're in that area. Do you know what I mean? It opens up other doors, like.
Door people you never come across before.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, trying to run the business with a young family is extremely hard, and it is very much part of our life. It's not a job, it is part of life for all 4 of us. So, you know, when we're away for the day and on holiday, the phones go in, there's maybe jobs that we need to price, the laptop's there, do you know, and they've grown up with that, so they're used to it, they understand that. But on the flip side, we do try and, you know, we can juggle things and be there for the kids. So if they've got something on at school, or even just simple things like dropping off and picking up, 99% of the time I will do that myself, because I'll go into the office early or I'll work late at night just to accommodate that. So yeah, definite pros and cons of having a family business with young kids. But now they're getting older, obviously. Harvey's 17 this year. He's now working in the business. Absolutely loving it, and he's doing really well. Maisie, she's just starting secondary school this year, and she's now decided in the last sort of 6 months that she wants to come into the business as well, which is amazing for us. Obviously, we would never push that. If they want to go and do something entirely different, then we would encourage that. But we're very fortunate that with both of them having been brought up with the business, that they're so passionate about it as well, and they want to carry that on, which is amazing. You know, he's now part of it and he's enjoying it, and he's a massive asset to us. You know, he has conversations with us, you know, about planning and whatever else, because although he's young, he gets it. He's been involved with it his whole life, and as I say, now Maisie's coming through and she's got the same attitude as well, so it's hopefully all good. We're just moving in the right direction. Very proud of both of them, and you know, obviously now Harvey's out there with clients, with the staff, and we get positive feedback, which is great. It's what we want to hear. But yeah, really, really proud of both of them, and yeah, they've just turned into two great wee kids, and they're not kids anymore, but yeah, they're very proud of them. It was just initially Garry and his grader. That was what was important to him at that time, and I just wanted to support that. It was never our intention at the outset to grow into a substantial size business. It was just his love for the grader, and that was it. And it just sort of grew arms and legs. You know, you go onto a job to do the grading, and then they maybe say, can you do a bit of ditching, can you do this, can you do that? And that's when it then, you know, you say, okay, we'll get a digger. And, you know, it just evolved quite naturally. We didn't really plan it at all, and it was very quick as well. The first sort of 4 years of the business, it was very, very quick growth. I think I'm definitely the more cautious one out of the two of us. Like, Garry will, you know, if he thinks there's an opportunity, he'll go for it, whereas I am the one that will maybe put the brakes on a wee bit and say, right, okay, we need to talk about this, and, you know, sort of we mull things over together. But I think that's how it works, because he has got that sort of go-get attitude, whereas I'm more like the sensible head. So like the two of us together complement each other, and we can make those decisions. But yeah, definitely, I think, you know, initially I was a little bit like, you know, is this the right thing to do? Obviously, these are, you know, we were young. There's a lot of money involved in these machines, and you know, it's a big risk to take, but don't regret it at all. It's really hard to switch off when both of you are involved in the business, and probably even more so now that Harvey's also involved in the business. So there's the three of you around the dinner table, that you just naturally start talking about something that happened earlier in the day or what's happening tomorrow. So yeah, it's very difficult to switch off. However, I do think there's benefits from it as well, because we understand. So, you know, when you're on a night out or you're on a holiday or whatever, and you need to pick up that phone, or you need to speak to that client, or you need to deal with this problem, the other one understands. Whereas maybe you wouldn't understand so much if you were not in the business at all. So again, yeah, pros and cons, I suppose, but but yeah, definitely the drawback is being able to switch off. Garry did it obviously self-employed for a good few years before, obviously no machinery involved, but at that time there wasn't a lot of graders around, so I think the biggest obstacle was getting the machine. I think we knew it would work, if that makes sense, because, you know, he was working up and down the country. So it was just more the risk involved of actually purchasing something. I think we knew that it would be viable for him to do that because he'd done it, he'd had the experience, he had the contacts. It was just the risk element for us, I think. Yeah, it's definitely his drive. He just wants to push forward all the time. He's always thinking of new ideas, new machines, how he can make how we can make our service better for the client at the end of the day. He wants the best for the client, and if the client comes on, doesn't matter time of day, time of night, he will answer the phone to them. Maybe not always straight away, because obviously his phone goes a lot these days, but he will get back to them, and no matter what they ask for, he will say he'll do it. Sometimes he comes off the phone thinking, how am I going to do this? But he always pulls it off, and yeah, that's definitely his biggest quality, because he always makes it happen. Garry will always say, let's do more, let's do more. Yeah, I think obviously we're still fairly young, the kids are coming up, so we're going to have 4 of us instead of the 2, which, you know, only means we can do bigger and better things, I would say. But yeah, and obviously we have over the years as well now started implementing some management, because everything changes. There's so much more involved now as well, and we realise, you know, that the 2 of us is stretched pretty thin, trying to do it all ourselves. So we do have other people involved now as well, which then frees up our time as well, ultimately, to try and look at new ideas and innovation and different things that we can be doing. But yeah, we're excited for the kids are at the stage now where they can be involved, and as I say, 4 heads are definitely better than 2.
So you're a proud father then?
Oh yeah. No, and to be fair, you know, I mean, he can get on a digger and a grader and that as well. Do you know, he's quite a daft hand, like. And then I've got my wee girl. She was born 2013. She came along, and she's quite keen. She's quite keen on the office side of it with her mum, like. So yeah. It makes a difference, because at the end of the day, that's what you're doing a lot of it for. It's
future generation.
Make sure your kids have got what they need. Like, you know, I don't know what I would have done if he said that, Dad, I'm not really interested in this. Like, you know,
sell up what the Spain.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not just too sure which one's the best. Like,
I know.
but no, he's certainly keen, and he's got a good head on him. He will go to college as well once he gets his licence. He's going to go and do civil engineering.
Yeah.
So that he's got something, you know, for the other side of
Fall back on.
Yeah, because obviously we do a lot of that kind of stuff as well. So that'll be handy for him.
Yeah, because realistically, the agriculture side is quite a small part compared to.
It is. It's very small in comparison. Like, yeah. So as we're on 2 or 3 wind farms there, we've got long-term contracts with clients as well. You know, so they need to be fulfilled too. Like, so the civil engineering would be handy. Like, so it would. It saves us having to bring in other people. I suppose every contract that you win, you know what I mean, is a key. You know what I mean, they're all milestones. You know what I mean, they make it worthwhile. You know, and employing men too. Do you know what I mean, and seeing the men interested and also keyed in on what you're trying to do. Do you know, they're all achievements in my mind. As a business owner, or director, whatever you want to call, you know what I mean, they're all key moments for me. Like, you know, that you know when you're seeing these guys come to you as young lads and see them turn into men, you know, it's they're the kind of milestones I think are good. Like, you know, like the effort that goes into some of these. The effort that goes into some of these contracts, you know, some of these tenders that you need.
What is it?
Yeah, a stone, I think. It definitely has. Definitely has. Is it tapping there, is it? It did go off with the detector, like. But it never went. I didn't think it went through it.
I don't know. I've never seen it.
It did cut off, like.
Yeah.
these are certainly no the milestones I like.
Garry was, his dad was a tractorman on a farm, so he was brought up on farms when he was younger. So he always had that love for agriculture. And I don't think, we see it all the time through staff and friends, whatever else. I think when you've got that in you, it never leaves you. So he worked on farms after leaving school until he then got into the construction side. So it was always a little part of the business. He would maybe just go and spread some slurry for someone or whatever else. And obviously we got a tractor fairly early on as well because we needed the tractor and roller to work alongside the grader. So when we got the contract, in fact I think we maybe actually bought the tractor first. So we had the tractor, so then you know he could go and just like tractor and man and do a little bit of slurry or whatever on the farms because he had a lot of contacts from, you know, over the years before he moved into construction working with them. So it's always been a part of what we do. I would say the whole sort of silage operation was 2015, I think. That's when we started doing the full thing for clients, so the chopping and everything. But before that, we always done little bits and pieces. There's definitely not as much money in it as the construction side, definitely not. There's a lot of investment that goes into the agricultural side, the price of machinery, and the fact that it only works for a very small part of the year. Whereas, you know, your construction side, it's working pretty much all year round. So, yeah, I think, you know, for the rates that you get for the time you can work them, it's, yeah, definitely not as viable as the construction side, but everybody loves a bit of agriculture, don't they? We do it initially because Garry's, as I say, love for agriculture, so that was initially why we did it. And now, obviously, Harvey's got a massive love for it. It's definitely, I would say at the moment, his favourite part of the business. So you want to keep it going for that. And obviously, it is viable, or we wouldn't do it. But it's just not as lucrative as other parts of the business. But and also we've got some good clients as well. You know that we've got a good relationship with them, and we want to, you know, to keep providing a service for them. So we will keep at it. And as I say, everybody, they always get, you know, it's always that, you know, you see a change in people when it comes to the silage season. Everybody gets quite excited. Even some of the boys off construction side, they're from farming backgrounds as well. And they're always saying, right, okay, if you've got any availability, you know, for needing cover, I'll do it. You know, so some of the boys will jump across and go on a tractor and trailer or whatever at weekends. So we do lagoons and we do road works and things like that for the farmers as well. So yeah, it flips across. And similarly on the construction side, we do utilise the tractors throughout the winter as well, whether it be dump trailers or we might need, you know, water bowsers if the roads are too dry and things like that as well. So we can sort of jump across between the two sectors. Yeah, and we do train our guys as well. So our full-time, obviously we do have some seasonal staff that come and help during silage season. However, our core guys, we train them various different plants. So maybe not only tractor and attachments, but they'll have maybe CPCS or equivalent for an excavator or a dump truck or something like that as well, so that during the winter we can put them across onto the other side of the business and keep them busy.
Aye, so there was a great example of why it's handy to have mechanics about.
Oh yeah, exactly. You know, it makes such a difference. Like, you know, even just for general maintenance as well. You know, try to keep top of things. You know, we do have a lot of service contracts in place for a lot of the machines, but just general maintenance is key. Like, you know, so we've got a welder fabricator boy as well. He'll weld buckets and the likes, so keeping top of things that way, like make stuff as well. So yeah.
We weren't down for too long there, even though we did have to skip back to the yard.
Exactly, yeah. No, 100%. Like, you know, and that's what it's all about. You know, just being able to act on it and get the bloody thing done, you know.
Yeah.
Nobody wants a breakdown, but unfortunately they happen, you know, that's all there is about it.
So yeah, whenever you started GTR then, what did you expect of it at all?
It was just, I thought I was just going to dodge away with a couple of guys and, you know, and I'd be nothing too massive, you know what I mean. Obviously I still was keeping my hand in with the farm work, still doing a bit of milking for a big dairy farm at Crockett Ford, doing a lot of milking there still, and then operating machinery for him. I never ever anticipated it, you know, being anything near what it is, like, you know. But I suppose it's just having the drive and the determination to make it something, and it just became a way of life for us, you know. And thankfully Tanya's interested, and you know, it makes it a damn sight easier, whether it's in the office pricing stuff or, you know, out on jobs. You know, Tanya used to do a lot out on the sites as well in the early days. So yeah, it just kind of happened, you know.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is just not being feared of the challenge. Like, I think that's the biggest thing, to be fair.
If you were to give your younger self any advice, what would you tell yourself?
I honestly wouldn't do anything any different. Like,
No.
you know, I honestly wouldn't. Everything's just kind of worked along. You know what I mean? I had a good bank manager when I first started, and you know, there was, I had to prove myself to him. You know, and that was probably a big part of what, you know, where we are today, because he kept saying to me, you know, you prove yourself to me, you bring the money in, you know what I mean, and I'll support you where I can, and that's exactly what he did. Like, we had to work and prove, and you know, I would hire machines for a wee while, and then I would speak to the bank manager and the accountant and say, well, look, you know, I'm paying this X amount per week or per month for hiring this machine. You know what I mean, if I buy one, we can do this, and you know, and that's. I had great support from him, like, and I was never afraid of putting hours in, you know. So, and as I say, I built up a lot of contacts, like, so there was always something to be doing. First tractor came in 2007. It was a Deutz 150.7. That tractor that came from Dumfries at Lockerbie, and that was a tremendous tractor. Like, it was unbelievable what that tractor did. Like, you know. A boy would go on it through the day, and then I would jump on it at night, or vice versa, like, you know, and we just kept it working. A lot of dump trailer stuff going on. Bought my first dump trailer in 07 as well, which was a Marshall 14 tonner. That's a difficult one, you know. People will say to me, you know, how do you sleep at night, you know, with what you're doing, but I sleep quite easy, so I do. But how do you manage it? I really don't know. I think the big thing for me is I'm the G in the GTR, but I still muck in with the boys, you know what I mean? The boys can come and talk to me. It's a team effort, you know what I mean? And I think that's a big thing, like, you know, being open and honest with the boys, you know what I mean? Explaining to them that cost this amount, you know what I mean? Any bit of downtime or any bit of mishap, you know, explaining to them, you know, that trying to get them keyed into what you're doing, but at the same time making sure that you compliment them on the good stuff. I think we're all too good at the negatives all the time, but it's all about the positives in my mind, like, you know, and if you can get the guys, you make sure you show a bit of positivity to the guys. I think that's a big thing with regards managing staff anyway. I suppose managing the growth of the business is probably more down to Tanya, to be fair. You know, I would see an opportunity, I would be speaking to clients, and I'd be looking at machinery, and then I'd be saying, right, we need to do this, like, you know, and a bit of discussion and that, like, how are we going to fund it, you know what I mean, how are we going to make sure we can pay for it, you know, or pay for it every month, all these kind of things, like, you know, making sure that you've got what there, and as I say, not being scared to approach people and offer your services, like, hey.
To just make it work, then basically you came with the idea and then Tanya made it happen?
Yeah, basically that's it in a nutshell, like, yeah, you know what I mean, we discuss it, and then, you know, it just seems to come together, do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it it seems to work, you know. But as I say, we've got a lot of good clients as well, you know. That's what you need. You need to, because you need to get them to rely on you as well. Same with like some payment plans and things like that. Do you know what I mean? Instead of, you know, obviously at this time of the year it's quite costly for the farmer, you know. Whereas if you just took an average of your annual turnover and then divided that up into the months and just understand an order getting paid, you know what I mean? I always thought that was quite a good thing as well. But one, it helps them, do you know what I mean? They're not laying out all their heavy bills in the summertime, you know. Or the heavy payments, should I say, in the summertime. There is a lot of contractors out there, like, you know. There's a lot out there, like, and there seems to be to be fair, there seems to be enough work for keeping everybody chapping. I must admit, you do wonder, like, you know. But
are you living your dream? Like,
I would say I am, like, you know what I mean, because I get my family time as well, you know. I'm lucky with the guys I've got around about me. I can get my family time, and I think at the end of the day, you know, that's a big thing. Yeah, you've got to enjoy what you're doing, but if you've not got your family time, then that to me, you know, that's when you would need to look at your different options, like, because I would never be doing it. You know what I mean? I don't see the point in it. I'd never be doing it till lack the time with my kids, you know. So, like, I've never missed a parents' evening, never missed a show at the school or anything. You know, I'm not saying I've not come out to hassle after these things, but you know, that I've never missed them. Like, and the same going on holiday, like, you know, I can divert the phone, and I know that the boys will do their damnedest, like, you know, to make sure that
everyone stays afloat.
Everyone stays afloat, and then if they have got any serious problems, then they will get in. You know what I mean? They will get in touch with us, like, you know. But to be fair, the guys I've got, they're more than capable of making decisions and stuff like that. So that gives you a good peace of mind. But no, the family needs to, you know. Obviously now it's just Massey because Harvey's loving his work, you know what I mean, and we're just kind of forgotten about now, do you know. So when we had last holiday there, at the kind of March time, like, you know, there's the four of us, and he says that'll be me for a good wee while, like, you know. But he's loving it, do you know what I mean? And that's the secret too, do you know what I mean? If you've built something there for the kids that they can do what they want to do with it, and it gives them a head start, do you know what I mean? I never had them things in life, so it's
work-life balance is key.
100%, like, yeah, 100%.